Trump's spokeswoman cannot describe how mail-in ballot applications in Michigan were done illegally. We all know the answer is it's illegal because Republicans will lose. Kylie is way in over her head at this post. She barely could handle late-night CNN roundtables. Meanwhile, I can very easily explain why if he does what he is threatening to do with withholding funds, it is quite illegal. Of course she can't. Did she try the blame Obama or blame China broken records yet? Michigan Trump supporters better not mail in any ballots then. In fact, they should avoid voting altogether. Haven't seen it mentioned here yet, but I found it funny that he deleted the tweet. On that note, he isn't supposed to be deleting tweets. Those are considered presidential records, aren't they? Here's a brief lesson in tells. While there are some generally accurate tells, the most reliable tell is when someone says or does that's distinctly out of the ordinary for their behavior. She set a very clear and consistent behavior of checking her binder full of answers to cover a wide variety of questions. It's clear she's just an emotionless robot designed to spew Trump's bullshit. Whenever she's asked a question, the first thing she does is flip to the page of talking points because she never has to actually think on her feet. On one hand, you could argue that's being prepared. Another angle, it comes off as inauthentic and highlighting that she doesn't actually know any of the talking points until she reads them. When she was asked what specifically was illegal, she didn't have an answer. She didn't have a talking point, because there isn't one. She deflected, which was a very common feature of Sarah Sanders. She was deflection incarnate. Kylie has otherwise been the opposite, straight up has the talking point. Except not for this. Trump doesn't have an answer for this because it's bogus. Sensible people know it's a bogus claim that it's illegal to have mail-in ballots. There's not even a faint indication of a talking point, and that's all driven by how Kylie reacts to a question being asked. So whether it's this very obvious lie or another more subtle one, keep this in mind. If she doesn't check her binder and goes off the fly, she has no fucking clue, and also that Trump has no follow-up. All bark, no bite. Don't worry, she'll come up with some lie before you know it. Yup. The exact thing that the Democrats warned about during the impeachment is happening, and, true to form, this administration is struggling to backfill an explanation for Trump's illegal actions. LOL, down the page there is an ad stating, "Happy birthday President Donald Trump. Sign the card. Paid for by Trump Mega Committee." So Trump is spending money on advertisements to get people to sign a card for himself? This guy can't get any more pathetic, and yet he continually does. Quick, back to Owen for a Q update to your talking points. It's difficult to find an acceptable way to say "because the king said not to." Because he is just being a fat fucking bully trying to scare people. I watched it live, she seriously fumbled over it and it seriously made no sense. It made no sense because it's all bullshit. We've been doing mail-in ballots for how long now? Suddenly it's no good and corrupt? I don't buy it one bit. Republicans, especially Trump, do not want the people to vote. Again, they do not want you to be able to vote. That's a very nasty question. Threatening to, illegally, withhold funds from a swing state seems imprudent. Just like Obamagate. When asked directly about what the actual complaint is, they can't just outright say "I don't like it," so they have to dance around and hope the base doesn't get too embarrassed to keep supporting the show even though it jumped the shark last season. I laughed when corruption Barbie took the stage for her very first presser and said "I'll never lie to you." That's the only thing she's done since then. My father just said it was illegal, and I brought up our state's voting results for no excuse voting. We as a state literally voted to make this legal. It was a single Google search away. Whenever Trump or one of his spokespeople says that something is illegal, the press needs to back them into a corner with a follow-up question about what charges do you expected to be filed in this matter to force them to admit that they have no idea what the laws they're supposed to be enforcing are. Trump will refuse to recognize the results of any state that had a large portion of votes by mail. He's setting this up for later when he loses. But Obama, she cites a study from the Carter era that uses concise and strong words that illustrate her point, like can and potential. Really powerful stuff. A crime was committed. Now we just need to make up what it is. Gives a whole new meaning to the term trumped up charges. It's not like they sent out the ballots to everyone. It's an application for the absent voter ballot. We voted for the absentee vote for any reason here. It's a law that anyone can do this. It also has a letter saying with COVID-19 out here, you can avoid going to the polls to vote. Source, received the letter today. https:// imager.com/q1z05he. JPG. Where's the look lady? She was so much better at brazenly lying to the media. She can't answer cause it's not illegal. Why would it be? Then us citizens living abroad or military personnel on deployment couldn't do it? It's illegal if black and brown people don't want to stand around and catch a deadly virus, but if Fox News viewers wanted no demanded mail-in ballots they would hand-deliver and pick them up. If Sean Hannity said it was necessary on TV they'd be all over it like a rash. The part they're not saying, anyone voting for a Democrat is illegal, they will be dealt with soon. Good illustration of how Trump feels about voter suppression. One of the big problems I see with Trump lately is that he produces so many lies and ridiculous statements, that his supporters literally have no way to support them and have to wait a day or two for the admin to create the Fox bullet points. If it were true that voting by mail was as fraudulent or easy to manipulate as Republicans say it is, they wouldn't be speaking loudly against it. In Arizona, mail-in ballots are actually monitored pretty closely. If your signature looks different, they compare it to your other signatures, they'll call you on the phone and ask you about it. Usually, it's because you've been sick or injured. Here's what California's law looks like, https://www.sos.ca. gov/administration/news releases and advisories/2018 news releases and advisories/ California Senate approves every vote counts act give voters opportunity correct mismatched mail ballots / questionable ballots get disqualified, not counted. So it's fair, and the fairness is the problem. By illegally Trump means that Republicans would not have even more of the unfair advantages baked into the system they are used to. Obama probably to blame. The GOP tried to illegally harvest mail-in ballots in NC and they were caught because it requires manpower to do this, and they had to recruit people from Craigslist, and although these were poor desperate people, they knew something was wrong and reported it. Secondly, it was a statistical anomaly in the counts for the one district this happened in. Elections officials in most states do analyses to try and find anomalies, and they will have to be extra vigilant whenever there's even more mail-in ballots. I think though Trump is making a racket about this as his way of signaling to his cult members that he wants them to try to illegally harvest ballots. Bush v. Gore pretty much stated that the feds have no authority to tell the states how to count their votes, provided they follow anti-discrimination laws. I would have thought Trump's face was a little too chemically treated to be palatable to leopards. No voting because there could be fraud, but open everything up even though there will be deaths. It's almost like you can tell he wants us to die as long as he stays in power. Weird.